All right, guys. So tonight we are drinking the Irishman triple distilled single malt Irish whiskey. I actually bought this when I was in Ireland on my honeymoon, and I love it to death. So, cheers, boys! It's been a little bit since we were together.
Oh.
So,
Cheers.
Clink, clink,
clink.
Distance cheers to you guys.
Social distance clinks.
That's really nice.
Ooh, that is good.
I love this whiskey so much. I'm going to give someone a quick shout out to those of you listening. If you ever find yourself in Dublin, you have to make a point to go to the Irish Whiskey Museum. It is the fucking coolest thing I did in that city. Like, yeah, ancient history, architecture, a lot of like political upheaval, a lot of like rich history, like current history, like just in the 80s. But holy shit, that Irish Whiskey Museum was the most fun. It's just like, they have great tour guides. Mm-hmm. You learn so much about just the history of Irish distilling in like an hour-long tour. It's awesome. So there's a recommendation. They just got a shout out. No sponsorship.
Do you get to drink at the end of it?
Yes.
You do. You do a tasting at the end of it. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Interactive education.
Yeah, it was awesome. So anyways, Irish Whiskey Museum. Thank you for opening up my world to this whiskey. So what'd you guys think of it?
I like it.
That's great.
Yeah, it's smooth as all hell.
Yeah, it's good. I could sip it for hours.
Yeah, nice and sweet, not too like, it's not like Scotch where it's like super peaty. I guess not all Scotches are super peaty, but like
A lot more.
Yeah, but
it's tasty.
it is. It's really good. So that's ours for the week if you guys want to drink with us. This is a little pricey,
I can imagine.
but when you want to spoil yourself with a nice whiskey, this is my typical go-to for myself. All right, so my name is Brandon Crossnow, and I am the DM of this D&D adventure. And so let's go ahead and have our players introduce themselves.
I'm Ben Milam, and I am playing Knarr's Hide Scale.
I'm Landon Jones, and I play Celty.
And I am Colin Britton, and I am playing Varis Leodin.
Awesome. All right, well, welcome everyone to Cantrips and Cocktails. We have finally officially embraced the name. So by the time you're seeing all these episodes, it'll already be branded. But just so you know, it took us this many recordings to fucking figure out a name. So go us. So last time we sat down together and we rolled some dice and played like we were other people, you all had just finished battling a gargoyle, in the town square of Port Mara. You all then proceeded to return. Celty by herself, still trying to keep her identity secret from you all. But you all returned to Simone Weathersby, the mage in Residence's tower, told her what happened, and you all came to the realization that what you fought was a gargoyle that had actually been resting on top of her tower. So you all went up there, and you learned through some conversation as you all were preparing to kind of investigate these other ones that these gargoyles had been a gift actually from another mage in residence from Leet by the name of, by the name of Oswald Pinkton, who is it's a funny name, I agree. And he had basically, Simone thought that it was kind of all water under the bridge. Apparently it wasn't, because he wanted the position that Simone was given here in Port Mara. And so he sent these as a gift, trying to make up, but it turns out that he had enchanted them or bound these gargoyles to his will, and that he had set them forth to pretty much just terrorize the town, is what you guys came to. So you went up there, you found that one of the other gargoyles was also marked with this mage in residence's symbol, which is a candle within a circle. And as you guys are about to try and pull it down, do something with it, it leapt to life and attacked. And you all proceeded to have a rooftop rumble. You guys, so you fought on this rooftop, and what essentially came to be is that you guys defeated it, but you guys took some hits, took some dings, and someone offered to let you all sleep in her tower that evening. So you all went about your business preparing for sleep. Celty at this point has kind of joined you all, but you guys still aren't really certain about her. Cain, you've started to intimate that maybe the mysterious masked woman that helped you all in the town square might be this Celty who also appeared at the tower around the same time you all did at, the early hours of the morning. But regardless, it's totally over Varis's head. But regardless, you guys have decided to go ahead and spend the night here. And I'll explain a bit of the layout of the tower if I need to again for you guys. But Celty, you stayed up a little bit and you actually conversed and borrowed a book from Simone, just kind of detailing some of the history of the gods. You learned about Hextor and the creation of the goddess Cadwyn and kind of the mediator between them. And you just read a book about the gods. And then you eventually found some rest, but you didn't sleep necessarily a full night, but for you, it would be a full rest. So you all came to about midday the following day. Varis, you can wake up earlier if you choose to. I know last time we joked around that you were probably just pooped and so you're going to sleep a full 8 hours. But as an elf, you could wake up actually mid-morning if you chose to.
Probably.
Okay. But I will say with that, so Varis, you can kind of tell me what you want to do for those first few hours. The other two of you will wake up a little later on in the day. But eventually, you guys, all three of you do come down to that main level, that bottom floor living quarters, and you walk in and you will find Simone sitting there with Professor Fellows. But before we get to that, I'm going to put a pause on it. Varis, is there anything in particular you want to do? I would say, honestly, you have 4 hours before the others are awake.
I think I would probably just go downstairs and see what's happening. I'm trying to just see, like, I'm up, it's mid-morning roundabouts. Probably
Honestly, probably like 9 a.m. Okay. Honestly, like it's morning.
Okay. See if there's breakfast available.
Okay.
If not, probably go acquire some. Mm-hmm. But we can start there. Just see what's going on downstairs.
And so I will remind you that you actually go to the door of your room that you're sharing with Cain, actually. And if you remember, you actually open it up, and all of the way that the tower is structured is that you have the first level, but you walk out of that first level living quarters into like an open column tower. And in the center of that tower is a spiral staircase that goes up. And leading off of that spiral staircase are like catwalks and walkways and archways that all lead to doors that are on the exterior of the tower. And you find that it's a little off-putting because the inside of the tower seems much taller, much grander than what it looks like on the outside. There's a lot more levels going on. But the doors on this exterior wall of this column tower, they're not at like even planned heights. So like where one door begins might actually be like right next to it might be halfway up at another door's height or something. It's all bizarre, and they're all connected by these kind of intricate webbing of catwalks. So Varis, you open this and you have to steel yourself because for a second you get kind of this weird trippy vertigo as you're seeing all this. But you do actually see that sitting there basically on your all's stoop of your room, there are 2 plates of ham, eggs, some fresh sliced apples, and you do actually see that there's like little glasses of OJ, and you do find that there is then one large like cask of some sort of beer. And you have a feeling that was put there for Cain.
Yeah, one could assume.
Yeah. So there was a meal provided. You had a sense that maybe that animated armor that was doing some cooking last night took care of some of that cooking this morning.
Well, delightful. I will gladly annihilate that meal.
Awesome.
And there's no sign of the armor or anyone hanging out in the tower?
No, in fact, it's a little eerie. Like you open it and it's this vast chamber in front of you with all these doors, and there's no movement. It's all still. You don't even hear a sound. Like the statement, you could hear a pin drop because it's very still. And last night, I don't think you found because it was Celty, so you don't even know where the library is right now. It could be any of these doors in front of you if you were on to go do that,
Yes, eventually. That's where I'm going to try to make my way.
Okay. Do you want to try and find someone to help you, or do you just want to start kind of exploring the tower?
Oh, what would Varis do? I think I'd be a little bit unnerved, and I'm just gonna call. Hello, is anybody?
Hello. Hello.
These arcane
What you
pocket
want,
dimensions.
kid? And you see suddenly standing right in front of you is this hunched back, green skin, green almost to the point of where it's like so pale now, wrinkled. You actually see like some sunspots on this like low scalp. It's about your knee height. And you see this old weathered goblin just standing there hunched over. His fingers seem like claws, and he just kind of looks up and he's like, "What do you want, kid?" And he was just appeared there in front of you. One of his eyes is like really bizarrely bigger than the other one. The other one like squints at you.
Hello. I am a guest of Mistress Simone. I am hoping to find a library. Who are you?
The name's Kraaaw.
Raw.
No, Kraaaw.
It is.
You gotta really draw out the ah.
I'll work on it.
Kraaaw. Kraaaw.
Well, Kraaaw.
Yeah, you get it.
Okay. Thank you. Could you show me to the library?
Right this way, Your Highness. And he kind of turns and starts ambling across this pathway, and you see that more than once, you almost think he takes a step right off the side of this pathway. But he seems to know his way, so you can follow Kraaaw.
Against my better judgment, I'm gonna follow him.
Did I hear any of this?
No, dude, you're asleep.
Out.
Okay, fair enough.
You were asleep.
I was about to say I did get my butt kicked last
Yeah,
time.
you're asleep. Okay, so he leads you down a few of the pathways. You actually go down what you would assume to be a level or maybe two. And he opens up this set of double doors. And you see this expansive, vast, wood-paneled, beautifully laid wood floor library. And every bookshelf in here is stuffed. There's a fire roaring in a fireplace. You see some comfortable plush leather sofas and seats, very comfortable armchairs. You can see a couple of tables with like sturdy looking armchairs that someone could sit and study at for a few hours. Kraaaw, when he opens it, he looks back and goes, "Don't take anything without the mistress's approval."
I would not dream of it.
And he holds out one of these bony skeletal hands towards you, palm up.
Varis, I think, would be familiar
with this.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I will pull out... It's getting a little tight. I'll give him 5 silver.
And when you put it in his hand, you see his eye, like his like squinty eye, opens big as well. And he takes one and he kind of bites it and he puts it back. He stuffs it into he's wearing not dirty looking, but worn, used looking kind of like coat and pants. But he stuffs it into his pocket and he goes, "Well, there anything else, my master?"
I take care of those who take care of me.
That is good to know. I like you. And suddenly it's like you blink, and when you blink, and then he's just not there any longer.
I detest these arcane goings on, but so be it. And I'm going to start looking for anything I can find on the history of this continent. Anything older than the current settlements.
Okay.
Basically.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Oh, that's not bad. What's my investigation? +1 for 17.
Okay. You do find a book. It is very, very thin. We're talking at best it might be considered a pamphlet. It's probably 10 to 15 pages, so you can easily read it in this time that you're sitting there. What you gather from your reading of it, I'm assuming you're going to go ahead and sit down and read it.
Yeah.
What you gather from your reading of it is that there really is very little known. However, all historians, all research, all archaeologists, everyone who's spoken to the Dragonborn cannot refute the idea or the truth that Dragonborn were the first inhabitants of Eleron, of a passing intelligence where they had culture and society and they were able to record history. Varis, and that to your people, to the elves, this is shattering. And back home, there's actually a lot of with the younger generation of elves, there's a bit of an identity crisis going on because they're brought up saying you're basically inheriting the world as its wardens and its safekeepers. And now this is kind of shattering that notion. There's a lot in there about the Verzen society. And I'll go into that in a second. About the Optivist Society, which is the other known society of Dragonborn, there's next to nothing. It's clear from the writings in there, and what it says is that the Optivist Society will not engage with outsiders. They won't even engage with other Dragonborn, not of their culture society. That it's actually taboo, and that's pretty much the most that it can get. There's something about the culture here of Dragonborn that the Optivist Society is considered the pinnacle of class and of height of society, of culture, and any other Dragonborn that isn't in that is lesser. The Verzen Society, on the other hand, there's a whole trove of it. And what's incredible to you from reading this is that a lot of the culture and a lot of the ways of life of the Verzen mirror very closely that of the life in Peturia. The biggest thing is that every Verzen, somewhere on their body, they actually have where they have been scarred and marked with a V and a circle. And it's not like a brand. It's not a beautiful thing. It's been carved into their scales, their flesh. And this is the mark of a Verzen Dragonborn. And what it's come to know is that somehow it's a mark of shame, a mark of inferiority among the Dragonborn. Some of them carry it on their shoulders, some on their chest, some on a thigh. A few even have it on their foreheads. And I guess the last bit of information we would have found in this about the scarring, is that Dragonborn can actually be thrown out of, what they've learned is can be removed from the Optivist Society and become Verzen. And at that point, they receive that scarring. A Dragonborn that is born into the Verzen Society can never become an Optivist Dragonborn. And at the age of 13, they all receive their mark. So that's kind of what you get out of that pamphlet. That's kind of the broad strokes of what is known about the Dragonborn Society and the history. But in terms of actual history, this happened at this point, at this time, there's basically nothing. The Verzen won't speak of it.
Well, seems there is more searching to be done.
All right. And I would say that finding that, reading that, and digesting it, getting really familiar with that text, probably takes you about 2 hours, all told. Because I would say you'd probably have read it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Skimming back.
So 2 hours. At this point, if you guys wanted to, you guys could start rousing, or you could have 2 more hours to do something else if you wanted. But
I'd probably kind of peruse briefly for a little while. Probably not find much that
your eyes go. I mean, pretty much any subject you might want to know about, you could probably find something in here about it.
We don't have to spend too much time on it, but I'd probably go try and find Simone and see if she has any thoughts on who I could talk to. Though
yeah, I will say that
it will be fruitful.
I will say this morning, when you leave the library, Kraaaw doesn't appear again. So you walk just around a bit. You actually don't have any luck finding Simone this morning in the tower.
Then I'll look around for a little while, be unfruitful, and go find a comfy couch.
Okay.
And just...
Yeah, there's actually some comfortable sofa back in the room that you and Cain shared, so you can go just hang out in there.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, just for brevity's sake, you all wake up. You all decide to go down to the main level together. Celty, how are you behaving this morning toward the two of them?
Did I fall asleep on the couch that was down in the main room?
You woke up in the room that you were given.
Oh, okay. Do I remember how I got there?
No, you do not. You remember falling asleep on the sofa in the main living quarters, and then you woke up just a few moments ago in the bed of the room that you were given here in the tower.
She does not like that. Better have just been that automate, like, was it the animated armor? Yeah, the automaton. She would have just gone down, probably back to that main kind of foyer living room.
As you're heading down, a few paces behind you, as you're actually starting to descend that spiral staircase, you hear the two of them come out of their room and descend behind you down to that main level.
Loudly chomping on the food while also carrying, what was it, the cask of beer?
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Yeah, was that down in the main room, or was
That was put outside their room.
Oh, okay.
You had some as well.
Okay.
Outside your room.
Okay. Yeah, she would have just probably made like a little breakfast sandwich.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. And so when you guys actually descend, and you all, first Celty will enter, and then the two of you not too long behind her, you all find that Simone is now sitting at the dining table, and sitting across the dining table from her, and the dining table sits a couple people, but sitting across from her is Professor Fellows. And they both seem to be enjoying a light lunch themselves, sipping on some nice like rosé wine with their meal. But that's what you guys walk into. What would you like to do? Simone kind of nods and smiles at you, and Professor Fellows kind of raises a glass to you as you all enter.
First point of order I'd like to do is, since I see that we're probably about to have a slightly intelligent conversation, I pull out my broken glasses and go ahead and put them on my snout.
All right. You do it.
I'll just pull up the chair closest to, like, I'm assuming they're sitting at like a corner or something. I'll just pull up like the other one on the other side of the table next to Simone or something like that.
All right.
Wait, were you sitting next to Simone?
I assumed Simone was at the head of the table.
Simone is at the head of the table.
Okay, in that case, I want to sit closest to Fellows.
Okay, so on Fellows' other side.
Since he's the one I've interacted with the most out of those two.
Okay. And Varis?
I mean, we've divided the table a little bit here. I'm just going to grab whatever chair is closest to me.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so actually, Varis, what happens is they're actually on the far side, and you just come in and you sit almost to where from Celty, there's like two chairs between you and Celty, and you're kind of like at the other corner, but that was the closest chair, and you just sat in it.
Oh, I just assumed that it was like Simone, Fellows, and I sat here, and then it was...
But they were on the far side of the table.
So imagine...
The table seats 8 to 10 people.
That's right, okay.
Yeah. So you walked over, you sat there, and Varis just went to the closest chair, which was kind of right there, and so he sat.
Gotcha. I think Celty puts on her, like, customer service voice and is like, how'd y'all sleep? Good morning. Like, just kind of quasi-checking in, but, like... not really caring either.
I slept quite well. This is wonderful accommodations. Thank you, Simone.
Oh, well, I'm glad you all slept well. I hope everything turned out all right. Kraaaw told me that you spent some time this morning in the library. I hope you found what you were searching for there.
Oh, yes. Well, I suppose I may have some questions later, but I think we have some other matters to...
Certainly, I'm happy to speak with whatever. I'm here to be of service to the people in Port Mara, so however I can help.
And I just accidentally slam down the keg onto the table, like, not realizing how, like, just completely misjudging the distance because I'm still not used to the depth perception in the glasses. So just, whoom.
And when you do that,
whoa.
you see Professor Fellows, like, reaches out and grabs the base of his wine glass and just kind of, like, scoots it away from you ever so slightly.
My apologies. Sorry.
Well, it's quite all right, good chap. Quite all right. So, tell me, last night's events. I heard that you all defeated some gargoyles. That's exciting stuff.
Exciting is a word for it.
You look a little pale there, Varis. Are you all right?
I am learning how to handle myself.
I should hope so if I'm taking you to the Silver Slopes with me here in a few weeks. I mean, you got to be about your wits in there, man.
What he's not saying is he was green last night, and despite his complexion now, he is no longer green under the collar in terms of fighting.
They both did quite admirably on the rooftop last night. I heard they did some good in the square, too.
Well, that's good to know. And, Celty, my dear, why are you here?
And I just lean over and just glare.
Because Professor Fellows doesn't remember hiring you, is kind of not sure why you're here in the tower this morning, but so.
Oh, I had some questions for Simone last night, and she was helpful enough to lend me one of her books, and I must have passed out on the couch reading it. I didn't want to take it home with me. Long journey. I didn't want to lose the tome.
And I'm always happy to loan out anything or help you with whatever you need, Celty. And you see Professor Fellows kind of like glares between Simone and Celty over his wine goblet before he takes a drink. He goes, well, shall we be about talking about business? I've heard from my associates. Celty, if you're done, you can go.
Okay. I leave.
All right.
And as she stands up, I just go, you sure you don't want to have a little bit more fun like last night?
Oh, I mean, I was...
And then I immediately realize what I just said, and I go,
And Professor Fellows just goes, well, okay.
I feel like she's heard it all at that point, like working in the was it the parrot,
the
chattering parrot,
the best damn logo this side of the Mysteria Motion.
Yes, I'm not waging a war against that logo. I don't know what you're talking about.
She probably doesn't even acknowledge the innuendo, like the slip of the tongue, I guess. But she's like, oh, I was utterly useless. All I had was my little short bow, and y'all took care of that gargoyle. I mean,
I just look.
I'm lucky y'all were there. Yes.
So that walking stick you got?
Oh, an old family heirloom. I use it mainly to scare off highwaymen. They see a big old blade and they think twice about robbing an old lady like myself.
I feel like Cain already knows the answer, but can I insight check that?
Yes, you can. Celty, roll a deception check.
Deception?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Celty, what was your deception check?
15.
15.
Ooh. Oh.
Who has the higher wisdom score?
I've got a +3.
What's the number?
It's 16.
I mean, he beats me out of the water. I have 11.
Okay, so Cain, you're now not certain. You're pretty, but you're pretty certain that you're still on the right task. But her response came a little too quickly, too assuredly. So you're now kind of like, well, it might be a family heirloom, but I definitely think she knows how to use it.
Ah, okay. That's why I backtracked.
I mean, she didn't say she didn't know how to use it.
Right. But in terms of him being confident that it was necessarily you, he's not 100%.
Best liars always tell the truth.
So I'll thank you for the breakfast and your help in my little inquiry. I'll be down at the Chattering Parrot, getting ready for my shift.
All right. So Celty leaves the tower.
Give our thanks to your boss. I really should learn her name.
Oh, Keth. Yes. I'll be sure to pass along the message. Feel free to drop by.
I believe we will.
A moment or two pass, and Professor Fellow pipes up and says, "Now then, let's get to business. We have approximately 10 days until we're set to leave. My assistant sent word from Leet yesterday evening. He has all of our supplies gathered. He's just finishing up a few things with permits and permissions to enter the Silvery Slopes from the company, and then we'll be off in 10 days. So, last night sealed the deal for me. You all seem to have handily taken care of 2 gargoyles, which is no light feat, I must say. So,
Professor,
you're hired. Yes.
Do you mind if I interrupt just a moment?
Yes, certainly. What is it? Good Cain. And he kind of slaps you on the shoulder like you guys have been buddies for years.
The glasses kind of fall off.
Yeah, a little like the hand lingers in like a too familiar way, like you guys are closer than you are.
Ooh.
Not like the creepy shoulder rub, but like just like the kind of like the okay, we don't know each other like that, bud.
I just don't like that.
Yeah.
I just kind of let's go. We need to consolidate the group at this table because I'm going deaf in my right ear with you having to yell across the table. It's nothing against you, Professor, but you should really get down to this end so I don't lose my hearing.
That's fair.
And just heighten the social anxiety on that one.
So Varis,
I'll
you
scoot
get up and
down closer. I guess I'll take whatever seat Celty just vacated.
Okay, yeah. The seat is warm and cool at the same time.
She farted a little bit before she left.
Simone says, can I get the two of you something to drink before we have this conversation of your expedition?
I just look over concerned, just like,
Would you like a glass for that, good Cain?
And I just drink.
And you see that she kind of has this like amused smile on her face. Like she is in no way disgusted. She's just very like, she's entertained by just the way Cain just takes a hold of a situation, just lives it.
I just set it down and I just go, I don't want you to have to do any extra dishes, so I'll keep the glassware.
And she points and you see the animated armor is there like scrubbing a pot, and it has like a little like pink flowery apron on it. Just like scrubbing this pot. It has no head though, so it's like it's a headless piece of armor, but it kind of turns like it's looking at you and then goes back to scrubbing.
I don't want to be a burden, but if you do have any wines from our homeland, I could take a glass.
Oh, we have a lovely, absolutely splendid Dragonspire rosé that actually the good professor and I are enjoying right now. Would that suit your palate?
You can twist my arm.
And you see that her hand kind of motions, her left hand does, and this glass and bottle kind of float together, pours, and then sets down in front of you. What are your two passive perceptions?
Passive.
I got a solid 12.
Gotta find where it is on.
Actually, that's not too bad.
15.
15, okay. Varis, as you see her left hand making this motion in the air, and you've seen enough magic casting in your life. Before now, you weren't necessarily a student of it yourself, but you can guess that she's casting a spell you've seen even members of your family cast, which is Mage Hand, to do this. But at the same time, while her left hand is doing this, you see her right hand is making some other shapes down at her side, some other symbols. And you actually see that her lips are moving ever so slightly while she's doing that. Celty, as you're walking back to the Chattering Parrot, a voice whispers in your ear. Don't go too far. They'll need you. And it is definitely Simone's voice.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So, so I just want to see if you saw her casting some.
Cool.
You don't know what she did, but you just saw that happen. And someone says, so, 10 days and you're off to the Silvery Slopes. The timetable seems to move up a little bit, but, well, what do you all plan to do in the meantime? What are you going to do to prepare? I mean, the Silvery Slopes are not for the light of heart. I'm sure you know that, Cain. You've been there a few times yourself, but this is going to uncharted regions, at least for those of us here from the trading company.
Oh, yes, very uncharted, even for me. I say not convincing it at all. It's like, But,
And Professor Fellows does say, he goes, Have you been to the Silvery Slopes often? I know we have spoken that you have been there before, but how regular?
here and there, depending on how the trade travel has to go. At least 3 to 4 times a year, if not more.
Understood. Well,
But never as a delve into, more as of a passing through.
Well, I do want to have both of you as prepared as we can before our expedition. There are 4 of us going on this journey after all. You, me, him, and my assistant. So, what do you all require to be ready? I mean, provisions? I mean, I will take care of food, but you all are kind of the hired muscle. What do you need? Weapons? What kind of armor? I mean, what do we need to procure for you for this great expedition that we're on?
As soon as he says weapons, I just kind of raise an eyebrow. I'm like, Well, I believe we were wanting to get some extra coin by burning down part of the forest to flesh out some ghosts. I might have the details a little mixed up on that.
I would strongly recommend against burning the forest.
So, I will second Varis on that note. No, it's there have been rumors of spirits, some of them burning the forest themselves, haunting that wood. Not far, actually, only an hour's hike outside of town to the north. But, sir, I mean, you all have proven yourself to the gargoyles. I'm sure that the city would be very grateful if you looked into this for them. Heck, with one more successful mission or task like this, you all might start becoming local legends here in Port Mara.
Just kind of a small grin just kind of pops up on Cain's face. Just,
I don't know that would be necessary, but a little extra coin to pad the pocket could be useful in preparing for a trip such as this.
And just helping people in general.
Professor Fellow says, "Oh, yes, and do you need some coin to buy some supplies, potions? I don't know what you adventurers like, but just 100 gold each, will that line the cough as well for you to get what you need?"
Works for me.
I should say so.
Right, 100, and you see he pulls out a coin purse and counts out enough, but you both are given 100 gold apiece. He doesn't understand the common person's finances. Like, he just kind of throws around money.
A Gatorade, what's that, $50?
Yeah, exactly. It's that kind of thing, yeah.
I turn to Fellows and I just kind of look at him. The only thing could I request, I'm assuming you have a library at your home?
Well, the city has a library, certainly, and why, our illustrious host, Simone, keeps a vast library here in the tower.
I'm specifically asking you. You're a professor.
I have a collection of books in my study, yes.
Do you mind if I have one for our travels to read? One of your studies, so to speak.
I'm happy to loan one out. What subject would you care for?
Whatever you think might be the most pressing and most relevant for our trip.
All right, well, I'll return tomorrow, and same time, about midday, and I will bring you a book at that time. I'll check my library this evening.
Well, thank you very much. That's all I really need.
Wonderful. Varis, any books I can procure for you from my personal study?
Well, actually, that's one thing I was hoping to discuss, and in fact with you, Simone. Part of the thing that brings me here in the first place, I have been unable to find much of the history of this continent, and I have to remember, it's been a minute. How do we pronounce it?
Ubiquitous?
I'm looking for any knowledge on the continent of Ubiquitous before the settlements.
Well, that will be a tall number to provide, I'm sorry. And you see that Simone's glance kind of drifts over towards Cain. She goes, unfortunately, our predecessors here on this land are not necessarily the most forthcoming with their own histories. They're happy to guide us along as we make our own discoveries, happy to show us the lay of the land, protect us even on our own expeditions, but there's something about their culture that just can't speak of their own history or how even these societies that they have came to be.
Which, while that's being said, I've got my hands kind of like underneath my chin, just squinty-eyed at you. Just,
If you don't mind me asking, Varis, and I truly do mean no offense when I say this, but what brings a man of your, let's say, station here to Ubiquitous? This is a place where people go to find their way, to make a name for themselves, but I know your family's name. You're not wanting for fame or money. Your family runs a very lucrative trade business back in Paturia. What brings you here to our city, to our lands?
Oh, how shall I put this? Shall we say, I have come into a position where I have perhaps embarrassed my father. I don't care to go into more detail than that. But I have a I know there's something here that's calling me. I know there's something out there that can make this right.
And her eyes now take you in a way that they haven't before. Before, she just kind of thought that you were here on a maybe just looking to make some stories to take back home. But now she's actually appraising you as a man of conviction. Which is, well, I may not have anything for you right now, but I'm happy to help you search as much as I can. Professor Fellows goes, well, if you don't need anything else from me, good sirs, and he pushes himself up, he goes, I believe that I'll be back to my estate, put some things in order, begin to pack. Remember, 10 days, I'll be here tomorrow. And if you're going to take care of that thing in the woods, good luck. And he just kind of flourishes out the door. Simone kind of excuses herself, and she's going to go back to some of her work and studies. But for all intents and purposes, I mean, the day is your own. You guys have been each given 100 gold to do with what you will. And you guys can also head out of town to that forest if you want to. Celty, what are you doing?
What day of the week is it? Is it my off day today?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
It's a day off today for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at. Is it the weekend or just an off day?
Yeah. You're not working at the Chattering Parrot today.
Yeah. And I'm writing it down. Remind me of not of Kethand, but
Orton.
Thank you. I'm bad with names, y'all. I'm assuming Orton is, and is that O-R?
O-R-T-E-N. Orton pretty much works every day.
Okay.
Because he's agoraphobic.
Okay. Cool.
So he doesn't
That's
leave.
right, because he sleeps upstairs he's in the tiny closet.
Yes, he's in what used to be the auxiliary pantry.
Yeah, he's has a Harry Potter bedroom. I'll probably run down to the Chattering Parrot pretty briskly, briefly. And ask Orton to cover for me after, tell him I'll owe him a favor if he can cover for me for, how long do I think it'll take for the Silver Slopes? Because I'm definitely
without you knowing the details, you would say at the quickest would probably be 2 months.
Yeah. Not gonna ask him that to cover for me for that long.
It's going to take about 3 to 4 weeks to get to where they need to be in the slopes. They're going to an uncharted location. Then the time there to journey and get back. So I'd say 2 months is a good estimate of how long it might take.
Yeah. I'm gonna go in, talk to Orton, and just
guys. This is old school expedition stuff.
Yeah. I'm not gonna ask him to cover for me for that long.
Okay.
I'm going to go tell him and make up some bullshit about my people have a religious thing that I have to do every so many years, and I'm that's why I'm gonna be gone.
And who are you saying this to?
Orton. But I'm gonna go talk to Kath.
Okay. Orton's it's a pilgrimage that you're going on, Celty? I mean, what?
Right, exactly. A pilgrimage.
Okay. Where to?
The Silver Slopes.
What's in the Silver Slope?
Do you know who Cadwin is?
I've heard the name. Sure.
Well, Cadwin has a cousin, and my family always worshipped this cousin, and the name's not important. I couldn't even pronounce it. I could write it out for you, but it would look like scribbles. But my mother was a staunch believer, and her dying wish was that I go on this pilgrimage and lay an offering at one of the shrines to this demigod.
Roll a deception check.
All right. That's gonna be a 18.
18. Orton goes, well, you have to honor your mother and her wishes. So, I mean, whatever I can do around here while you're gone, Celty, I'll be sure to do it for certain.
I appreciate that.
Safe travels.
Thank you. Don't take any shit from Kath.
I will.
I know she's your boss, but
yeah, and
don't let her beat you up.
And she's my landlady, so
that too.
Yeah, talk about an awkward relationship right there. All right, and he just kind of goes back to cleaning some glasses.
So I'm just gonna go up to Kath and be like, "Look,
she's back in the kitchen cooking, which she always is."
Yeah. So you might want to look for another barkeep. I would like to come back, but there's something I have to do. I can't go into too much detail. But it's nothing that anybody's done. It's just something I have to do.
Kethin doesn't turn to face you. But she does look over your shoulder and her shoulder. I'm sorry, not your shoulder. Her shoulder at you, and she says, "Oh, Celty, it's about time you moved on." And she just goes back to cooking.
Well, I think Celty would continue to just keep not quite hearing those words. She's keep trying to make up excuses for why she's leaving.
And Kath finally sets down like the spatula and the spoon she's been holding, and she doesn't turn to face you though, and she kind of wipes her hands on the apron she's wearing, and she puts her hands on her hips. Her back is still kind of to you. You're kind of like at an angle to her, but most of her back is facing you. And she says, "Celty, you may not have known this, but I've always known this was a temporary thing for you. But if you ever come back, if you ever need a job, there's a place here for you."
Thanks, Kath.
And she just goes back to her cooking.
And I'll put like kind of my hand like on the like between her shoulder blades a little bit and just thanks. You've been like an aunt to me. And yeah, I'm actually gonna cast Bless on her.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast Bless on her.
Okay.
So, and then I'm gonna and just say, thanks for everything.
She doesn't acknowledge it, but you do see like, you feel like almost like a slight like tense flicker through her shoulder blades. But you do you see this orange, not orangey. You see this orange amber radiant light kind of spread from your palm and envelop her whole body for just an instant, and then it's gone.
I'll skedaddle out of the kitchen, and kind of, last farewell, not farewells, but like just like, all right, I'll see you after a little while. Don't know how long it's going to be to Orton. And then I'm going to go to probably the Okay, I'm going to go start shopping for supplies.
Okay. How much money do you have?
Not a lot.
Okay. That's A-okay.
So, let me think here. I'll probably grab... Actually, I would talk to Kath about buying some rations off of her.
Okay. She'll give you rations for like a week, 7 days for 3 silver.
Okay.
She likes you.
All right. So 3 rations. Or, no, sorry. 3 silver, 7 days worth of rations. Okay. And then I will... I'll probably go look for some arrows for my short bow and also look for like some potions.
You can get the arrows from Orm's Bellows just for the sake of some time real quick. I'm not doing a whole roleplay thing. Are you going to try and barter or take them for what they're listed at? I'll tell you what they're priced at. Bundle of arrows will cost you 5 silver for 20.
Okay.
Arrows. I don't like that pricing. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I misread that. Sorry. No, it'll be 5 copper for 20 arrows.
Yeah, I'll purchase it.
Okay.
Probably can I grab an extra bowstring? I'm assuming this Fletcher or whoever would
he kind of deals in like weapons, armor, general.
I would just grab like an extra bowstring or something, stuff like...
I'll say all told, so arrows, bowstring, what else do you want?
That's going to be it from him.
Okay. So from him, for all that, 7 copper for the bowstring and the 20 arrows.
Okay.
7 copper.
Okay. And then, then like I said, I'll go and look for potions. Potion seller.
That one would be at Key Magic with the ever so pompous Mizog Jano that Cain had to run into. So you walk in, he is this half elf with long, kind of dark, almost graying hair that's in a tight braid. He wears purple. He's wearing like a purple robe. He's sitting behind the counter. You've both seen each other around town. You've maybe done some business with him before, so he knows you by name. And you walk in, and he greets you. Oh, hello, Celty. So good to see you. How are you doing today, my dear?
Not too bad, Ms. Would I know? No,
He does not like nicknames.
Okay, then I will not call him Ms.
Yeah. He likes Mizog.
Celty knows when to... She picks and chooses her battles well on that. Yeah. Not too bad, Ms. Og. I was actually going to be undertaking a pilgrimage and thought I'd stop by to see if you had anything that might be useful in case I ran into some issues on the way.
Oh, certainly, my dear. What is it that I can help procure for you?
Well, I think having some good healing potions or I don't know if you've ever something to take the edge off of, get some rest when I might don't have time to sleep, but really wish I had some. A little extra strong coffee, if you will.
He bends down underneath the counter and pulls up this rack of vials and potions and all that sort of things. You see that it could probably hold 25, and there's really only like 4 potions in it currently. Okay. 2 have a red liquid to them. One is a like rose-hued, like kind of pinkish, rosy colored liquid. Not red, but it's more like a pink rose color. And there is a bubble floating in it. When you look at it, the bubble is heart-shaped, and it's floating there. And then the other one is like a deep, dark burgundy color, like almost the color of like a red wine almost. And the other two are like a brilliant red color. And he says, well, I have 2 potions of healing that do the trick in a pinch. They're your run-of-the-mill healing potions. I have something that will help you be a little more sturdy should something with the power of fire be cast or hit upon you. And I have this one that, it's a little fun treat, Celty.
Oh, do tell.
You are a certain someone who you want to catch the attention of. You just slip this in their drink and they're yours.
Oh, that's naughty.
Isn't it, my dear? Isn't it?
Well, my friend, do you have any special deals going?
No.
I thought a purveyor of such fine brews as yourself, why cheapen the value of your potions?
Precisely.
So, speaking of, what are the prices to take these off your hands?
Well, for the 2 healing potions, 50 gold apiece. For the potion to help you be a little more resilient in the face of fire, well, let's say 100 gold for that one. And for this one, to make whoever drinks it yours, 100 gold as well. That one I'll give you for a steal.
Okay, so 100, 150, 50.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have maybe an herbalism kit instead? Or a medical kit?
You can have an herbalism kit or a medicine pack for 5 gold.
Okay, he knows who I am. Would she think, like, what's her... Never mind, I'm just going to go out and ask. Could I start a line of credit?
Oh.
I could make a substantial down payment. I think I would just take one of the simple potions of healing, but I do plan to come back a much wealthier woman. But I will leave a note with Keth at the Chattering Parrot that if I do not return in a fortnight, that you can have my stuff as payment.
Roll a persuasion check. How much are you putting down?
25. Half.
Okay.
50%'s a good down payment.
Okay. Yeah, you're not buying a house though, bro.
A dirty 20.
Yeah, he agrees.
Okay.
He'll say, that seems fair, I suppose.
Okay.
And he holds out his hand for the coin.
Yep.
And he takes it from you. He goes, remember, Celty, a fortnight.
A fortnight is 40 days, right? Or is that 20 days?
A fortnight is like 14 days,
God. Oh, God. I forgot.
You just
Yeah,
2 weeks, man.
I had that thinking in my head too. I
You
was
just
like,
said you're gonna pay this thing 4 days after you all leave.
Damn it.
I was about to say, do you really have that much stuff there?
I'm gonna go fight the ghosts in the woods.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, there's some payment for that.
Oh god, it's only 50 gold. Okay. Yeah, all right, I give him the 25 gold.
Hey, if you solve it all by yourself, that whole 50 gold's yours.
Yep. All right.
All right.
Oh shit.
Okay. So he
Joke's
takes
on
it and
him, I have
he says,
shit.
"All right, 2 weeks, Celty. I'll see you then."
All right.
All right. Okay, now the two of you guys, where are you guys heading?
I guess we're heading back to the Chattering Parrot. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah, that's the name of the inn. I did not want to be rude. How are we to get paid for the job we did? Who do we talk to?
I thought you were thinking of that. Wait, was it not Simone?
I think it was, but I didn't want to be rude in the middle of our conversation. And I've never done this before. Do you just ask?
Actually, hang on. Quick point of order. Didn't she already pay us whenever we first came back from the first gargoyle?
I think the only money y'all have gotten was the stuff that Professor Fellows gave to buy supplies.
That's right.
You got some money from him for
being just
for shits and gigs.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure since it has been a little while. Yeah. Okay.
I will say this. When you guys got the 100 gold from Fellows, and just answer me honestly about what your character do. Would your character just put it in their coin pouch, or would you look at what was in your coin pouch when you dropped it in there?
I wouldn't. I would have just dropped it right in.
I doubt I would have looked. It would have been a passing glance, if anything.
Never mind. Okay. All right.
But no, we'll just talk to her later. She's the mage here. She's not going to be weirded out by us being like, hey.
I'm trusting you.
I'd hope so. I did stop you from getting carried into the sky by a gargoyle.
It is much appreciated.
I need to stop blinding me with that dang fog, by the way. That makes things a little difficult.
I panicked. It wasn't the smartest move, but it's worked in the past. It didn't work in the past.
I was about to say, how many fights have you won just popping out fog?
There was one.
Besides last night?
There was one before that.
Oh, okay.
It was 2 days ago.
Yeah, I think we'll just talk to her whenever we see her again, because Fellows said he was going to meet us at Simone's place, right? So we'll just ask her about it tomorrow.
That's true. What should we buy? I've never done this.
Fair. Okay. Well, Fellows said he was going to be providing the food, so we don't have to worry about that. Which is usually a big thing you got to worry about.
If push comes to shove, I do have means for getting us by. It'll diminish my abilities for the rest of the day by a small amount, but we can get by if he...
I can also hunt. There's always a way.
That's a good
Food-wise.
point. I would be inept.
However, you seem to not be the stoutest. Let's be real, you're dainty.
Well, I am refined.
You're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna twist an ankle on the road. You're gonna have a bird sideswipe you in the side of the head. It's gonna knock you out. We might as well go get a potion for you, just to be on the safe side. I mean, my job generally is to stop people like you from getting hit by wayward animals and whatever the hell's out there. But a wayward branch could smack you the wrong way and you'd be down. I'm sorry.
I like to think I could take a bit more than that, but that's fair.
It's better to be on the safe side. Don't take it offensively. Just don't want to see anyone die.
You would know better than I.
I was about to say that point of order I was pointing out earlier. Mm-hmm. On the way, would I happen, being slightly familiar with the town, would I happen to know if there's any orphanages or like beggars in that on the way there?
You've never encountered an orphanage?
Okay.
There are like company run orphanages for children whose parents die. Every major city has one. That's kind of common knowledge.
Is that on the way?
You don't know where it is. You've never been to this one.
Ah.
You'd have to get directions.
In that case, could I ask around, please?
Yeah, they actually point you back, kind of on the. You guys are heading toward the port, so you're heading eastward, and it's actually on the northwest side of the city. Actually, kind of like on the road out of town toward Lee, kind of where you guys will be going when you head to the forest. So that's where the orphanage is located.
So the opposite way of where we're going right now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, in that case, I'll worry about that later. But if it does happen to be in our pathway of wherever we're going, I'd like to swing by there.
Okay. Noted. In terms of beggars on the streets, and it's weird for you because you come from where there are a lot of beggars in Verzen in the cities. You haven't seen a single one since you've been in Port Mara, ever.
That seems almost more sketchy than there being a bunch of beggars.
Well, this is not a government. These settlements, especially the Southern Mysterium Trading Company, is run by it's a company.
Right.
So if you're not working, your ass is grass. You're put on a boat elsewhere.
Yeah.
So everyone here is employed by the trading company, and so if anyone loses their job or gets fired, they are put on a boat. The company will pay for it, but they're put on a boat to other lands.
Gotcha.
Whether or not that person gets to decide where they're shipped off to, it's another story. Right. But they're just they're fired. You're kind of told to clear out your cubicle and you're sent out.
Fair enough. Okay. So we're going to go see the same guy. And that, just to be clear, that is the same guy that I sat there and bought the Bahamut book.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
That is exactly who it is.
I figured. But
you guys can walk in. Ms. Zog is sitting there. You actually happen to see that there's a holder with 3 potions just sitting out on the counter when you walk in. He's kind of leafing through some books. It looks like he's maybe doing his books and doing his accounts. I would say by now it's probably getting close to mid-afternoon.
By the way, I've shrunken my axe and put it in my pocket.
Okay. And he walks in and Ms. Zog goes, "Oh, it's you. Hello, Sir Dragonborn. Good to see you again. How may I be of service today?"
I'm just looking to grab a potion for my new friend here. He seems to be a little on the more susceptible to being targeted by wild beasts side.
And Ms. Zog's eyebrows kind of raise as he appraises you, Varis. And he says, "Oh, you're friends with this charming fellow, are you, my good elfin friend?"
Well, yes, we are comrades in arms for the time being, it would seem.
Are you really?
Co-workers.
Oh. Well, that is something, I suppose. So you're looking for what exactly?
I'll put it bluntly. Something to stop him from dying if he gets smacked too hard.
Are you looking for some enchanted armor, perhaps? Or perhaps
With that, the eyebrow just shoots up. Maybe.
An amulet that can restore life? Or are you thinking something more... and you can tell he's now very pointless and is more within your price range.
On a normal day, perhaps something more more extravagant, but I think on the lower end for today.
Well, and he pushes the container with the different potions forward. He goes, "Well, I do have one potion of common healing left for 50 gold. And if you are interested," he lifts up this amulet that has this tote horn. Let me read the description. Yeah, it has it's a pendant on it, heart shaped pendant. Let's say that has a little like medical cross in the middle of it. I don't know. I just made that up. But he sets that down. He sets on this amulet with that token on it, and he goes, "And if you're interested in going a little bit more fully into it, this amulet, well, I'm willing to part with it for a measly 120 gold."
What does this amulet accomplish?
Well, while you're wearing it, you are actually immune from contracting any diseases. And he looks over at Cain, he goes, "That might come in handy. And if you are already infected with the disease, the effects of those disease are suppressed as long as you have it on."
I'm angrily reading the crappy wrong pamphlet of Bahamut.
So what do you say, the potion or the very useful, very handy pendant?
Well, Cain, are there any transmittable diseases, any plagues of the sort I should be worried about in...
We're going to the cold. Cold has a tendency to kill a lot of shit.
You wouldn't know that.
I don't. Nope. I'm talking out of my ass, honestly.
Okay.
I don't think you're gonna need it in the mountains.
And I would have no clue.
Yeah. You are not yourself, Colin.
Oh, nope. Mm-mm. Oh, well, it's a tempting offer, but I think I'll take the healing potion. Thank you.
If you're certain, it will be 50 gold, good sir.
Well,
That's whenever I chime in, just go, "Do you have anything better than the amulet? Like maybe a weapon? Or, armor?"
I
offered.
I do have some enchanted armor, if that is what you're interested in.
I wouldn't mind taking a look.
All right, just one moment. And he comes back out with this wooden case, and he sets it there, and he goes back into the back, and he brings out another wooden case, goes back into the back, and comes out with a third wooden case. And he opens them up, and you see in the first one, laying there folded, is some very nice, very well oiled leather armor. Just some leathers. And the next one is actually, it's just a breastplate.
Just a basic breastplate?
Just a basic breastplate, but it as far as, but he seems, I mean, it's in a case. Like, it seems like it might be worth something. And the last one, he opens it, and there are, it's chainmail. It's a set of chainmail armor in the last one. And he says, all of these are magically enchanted to give you a bit of a boost to avoid being hit, or at least take those hits a little better.
Okay. Varis, what kind of armor do you like to wear?
Well, truthfully, this is the first set of armor I've ever owned.
What kind of armor are
leather.
you? Leather? Okay. Tell me about the leather armor there, sir.
I think leather is all I can do. Light armor. I don't think.
Yeah, you can't
druids
wear
can't
as
do
a druid.
medium.
You can't wear anything that's metal as a druid. They're all enchanted. What you get the sense of through him explaining them is that they're all +1 versions of their armor. The leather armor, he prices at, is that right?
What, like 2-3 grand?
Probably.
5,000 gold.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Enchanted. Like magic items are bananas.
The breastplate, he prices at 5,500, and the chainmail he puts at about 5,500 as well. And he goes, "If this is something you gentlemen are interested in, I'm certainly willing to part with it, but, well, let's just say you don't look like you have the coin on you right now."
Honest, no. Absolutely not honest. Are you kidding? Who would walk around with that kind of money in their pocket?
A little bit beyond us at the moment, I'm afraid.
Well, if you're ever interested, they might still be here.
We'll be back for it.
All right?
It's easier to not have to heal you.
So, will that be just the potion then? You sure you're not interested in these other 2 potions at all, my good gentleman?
One of them seems a little outside of... I'm guessing, just like looking at the love potion or whatever it is, that even though I don't know at all what it does, just seeing the heart bubble kind of bouncing around in there, it's like
telling.
It's just like, I think one of those might not be within our use range.
Ooh, but this other one does help you be a little more resistant to fire and its scalding properties. Should that be of an interest to you at all?
On this expedition, I don't think so. I don't know why I'm getting an accent all of a sudden. I don't think so. But that is good to know.
Certainly. I have a shipment of some more potions coming in a few weeks. You're welcome to check back then.
I will keep that in mind. Yes.
I'm like dipping into be like Maximilian Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! Kaiba boy.
Which, by the way, have you gotten any more literature on what we discussed last time? I know it's only been...
You mean in the 24 hours since you were last here?
You
No.
seem like a capable gentleman.
He looks over at you and goes, how do you put up with this, honestly?
I did not know you were seeking knowledge, literature. What are we discussing, Cain?
I'll explain to you on the walk back. I'll explain on the way to the parrot. Very well. For now, if you do get anything in on our previous subjects, or honestly anything similar, please hold on to it for me. I would love to take a look.
I'll be sure to do that. Now, have a good day, gentlemen. And he sort of like gestures to the door for you. And so where are you guys heading?
Parrot, I guess. As we leave the store, I'd explain to Varis, I enjoy reading what all the newcomers have to say about my lands and my people and my beliefs, because they're hilariously wrong 90% of the time. And I pass him the pamphlet on Bahamut.
All right, so as you guys make your way through Port Mora, midday sun is coming up. It's high. It's beginning to actually dip down toward evening. That's where we're going to end this episode. So we'll come back in and see what you guys are doing next time.
Cool.
Alrighty.
Sweet.